Yeah, I think the approach my co-writer Joslyn Barnes and I took was to kind of get as far away from the nuances of Coulson's narrative and try to distill it to our best ability, to its sort of core relationality and its essence. It's such a powerful novel; it's almost impossible to adapt. So to let cinema do its own thing with it seemed to be the smartest route.
I read the script, and that provided a lot of insight into who Elwood is. And it was really great it was a really well-written script, so I was able to connect with the story. I picked up the book just to kind of dive deeper into the world, find ways to connect with Elwood more. And yeah, that was what the process was like. It was just trying to find a way to connect with him so that I could be as honest as possible when it came to portraying him.
Yeah, I'm very grateful to have had a director like RaMell, in that the way that he wanted to tell this story, and he's spoken on it, so I'm not just making this stuff up. The way he wanted to tell this story is that rather than focusing on these historical elements and these people as like objects of history, as something, I don't know, just these kind of caricatures of the past, he wanted to approach them, give them as much life as possible, show that they have as much feeling as everyone that's currently living in the present day, as to not remove us from, as to kind of erase this separation that might be felt in period pieces, or that we might feel by just reading the story about these statistics.
It's not so much about the larger cultural conversation, it's more about what happened to those children at that school. And that it's not unlike what happened in concentration camps in Berlin. It's not unlike what happened to unwed mothers in Ireland and how they were treated by the Catholic Church. It's not unlike that, and there was violence happening in our backyards and we didn't do anything about it. And now we can, because we know about it.
It's important to not separate ourselves as Americans from our history. Kind of the embarrassing parts of our history, because they are also embarrassing parts of our present, and this film, I think, obviously with the source material, but also in the care that was taken to put everybody inside the storytelling, is a really interesting solution to that problem of sort of how to make us palpably feel things that we're sort of conditioned to think of as history, as not really affecting our present. And so that was one of the many reasons I wanted to jump into this for a little bit.
I just trusted RaMell. He's a genius, and it was we didn't all know he was going to be a genius, but it just seemed like the only thing one could do with such frightening material is just trust your director and throw yourself fully into his hands. And he just caught us and carried us all.
We had so much fun, you wouldn't be able to tell by the nature of the film. But it was in such good hands, everybody was in such high spirits. Shooting it was wonderful, lovely. I think about those memories often, and they're all pleasant. I think the hardest part is really just dealing with the reality of the history that we were bringing to life.
The way that he makes a film is one of a kind, so I felt that every day we were not only experimenting but also really, writing new rules and building a new way of making a movie. It was such a thrill, and Brandon and Ethan are so brilliant. It was just, even though the material is some of it is so intense and meaningful in that sense, RaMell is like such a joyous, funny, just wonderful person. So every day was a real thrill.
Really, for us, it was about trying to create an image that allowed the audience to live inside the body, the mind, the consciousness of Elwood and Turner.
I worked with RaMell Ross. I produced his first film, and so I think I understood well his proposal to shoot the film in what he called ascension perspective. And so we approached the screenplay writing as a kind of edit, actually, to begin with, working with images to carry a lot of the weight of the narrative and then expanding it eventually into a full screenplay.